Trish, you've been involved in a lot of projects in communities, especially on the community disaster risk reduction. Can you give us an overview of what you're actually doing and in which projects you are involved?
The work I do is very varied, and I do a variety of things, so I'll try and give you a summary of some of those things. Firstly, in the context of this interview, I suppose my training programs are very important. I've established quite a well-known community risk assessment course, which is focused on informal settlement dwellers, and that runs biannually, and I train anyone from a humanitarian aid worker to a disaster management official, and even other researchers and academics from all over Africa. So people fly in from other parts of Africa. I'm part of a consortium of universities called Peri-Peri-U, and we have 12 universities in 12 countries. So frequently academics and researchers will come to my courses from those areas as well. What's interesting about that is that they also write assignments. It's an accredited course, and so I'm getting a real take on what's happening in other parts of Africa. So I'm getting a real sense of how we differ or perhaps are the same to many other countries. I also run a postgraduate module at Stellenbosch University in the Geography and Environmental Studies department, where traditionally our students spend a week doing field work with me. And of course I always drag them into some kind of vulnerability assessment or hazard and vulnerability assessment, and I try to do this as a sort of service learning exercise. So traditionally we'll do it as a commission for a local municipality somewhere here in the Western Cape, and the students will actually go and stay in the area for several days and do the assessment. The assessment will usually comprise several different methods. So the students will learn to run, for example, a community workshop. They'll also learn to interview stakeholders from all different spheres of government and local organizations. And then lastly, they'll usually do household interviews and perhaps even a household survey, which they did a few months ago here in Klapnitz. And then lastly, I kind of also get involved in quite a lot of outreach projects of my own. Something I did last year or the year before was what I call a school outreach project. In collaboration with a local school, I went in and worked also in collaboration with Cape Winelands District Disaster Management staff. And we went and worked with grade 7 learners at Klapnitz Primary School. And we tried to introduce to them the idea of hazards, and then got them to identify hazards as they understood them in their own environment. And we actually gave them disposable cameras, and we asked them to go out and show us what they'd understood from the lessons and what they understood to be hazards in their community. And it was really enlightening to see how children understand hazards. And it really had an unintended outcome, because the students, the children, then exhibited their photographs on campus, and we bussed them all onto the campus to come and introduce their winning photographs to the students on our campus. And for the first time, our students got to see the kinds of conditions that presented some of these low-cost housing communities. So there was a two-way interaction between poor children from a very marginalized community and well-to-do students from a well-resourced university. And I heard from the headmaster subsequent to that a lot of parents were coming to talk to him about their children going home and insisting that candles are extinguished at night. And so we kind of got to the adults through the children, and it worked really, really well. And that project continued, and it's being rolled out across the Cape Winelands now by the Cape Winelands Disaster Management team.